The Clever Peasant Girl, a German folk tale. The Clever Peasant Girl. Once upon a time in a small village, there lived a poor but clever peasant girl. She was known for her quick wit and wisdom, which often surprised even the oldest villagers. One day, the king of the land passed through the village and overheard the girl solving a difficult dispute among the farmers. Intrigued by her intelligence, he decided to test her. "If you are as clever as they say," the king said, "then solve this riddle. I will give you something to bring to my palace, but it must neither be carried nor dragged, neither inside nor outside, and neither clothed nor naked. If you can do this, I will reward you." The girl smiled and thought for a moment. Then she nodded. "I accept your challenge, Your Majesty." The girl's clever solution. The next morning, the girl arrived at the palace. The guards were confused when they saw her. She was wrapped in a fishing net. In her hands she carried a small bird, which was hopping, neither carried nor dragged. She stood in the doorway, with 1 foot inside and 1 foot outside, neither inside nor outside, and because the fishing net covered her but was not real clothing, she was neither clothed nor naked. The king laughed in delight. "You are truly the cleverest person I have met," he said. As a reward, he invited her to live in the palace and gave her riches beyond imagination. A final test. Over time, the king began to admire the peasant girl, not just for her beauty, but for her intelligence and kind heart. Eventually, he fell in love and asked her to marry him. "However," he said, "even as my queen, you must never interfere in my royal judgments." The girl agreed, and they were married in a grand ceremony. But one day, the girl saw an innocent farmer wrongly punished in the royal court. She knew she had promised not to interfere, but she couldn't stay silent. She spoke up, using her wit to prove the man's innocence. The king was angry at first, reminding her of their agreement. But before he could send her away, she smiled and said, "Very well, my king, but before I go, you promised I could take the one thing I love most from the palace with me, and I choose you." The king was stunned, but then he laughed. "You are truly the cleverest of all," he admitted. From that day on, the king and queen ruled together, and he valued her wisdom just as much as her kindness. Under their rule, the kingdom became fair and just, proving that intelligence and goodness are the greatest strengths of all. The end.